hearing, and with that, I will turn to the ranking member for an opening statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today. Welcome back. I expect that we've all spent the previous month visiting, learning, and connecting with our constituents, and although we may disagree on some things, we surely can and should agree that our nation's children deserve an education that allows them to reach their full potential and that is safe. The inspiring educators and school administrators and bright young people I meet with in schools in Northwest Oregon always remind me of this. That being said, unfortunately, as we're having this hearing today, people in Minneapolis are still reeling from another school shooting, this time at Annunciation Catholic School. The start of the school year should begin with joyous activities, not burying classmates or recovering from bullet wounds. And as Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry said in the aftermath, we can't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying when the shooter attacked. Congress needs to act to prevent gun violence, and after every senseless shooting, I'm increasingly more frustrated that we don't. And this is relevant because we want kids to be able to be focusing on learning, not worried about their safety. Now to the issue at hand, improving math and reading instruction for students. I'm looking forward to this hearing, and I have some optimism that we can find some bipartisan agreement as we did with our hearings on screen time and childcare. But I need to start with a few reminders. First, the Trump administration is trying to eliminate the Department of Education. They're proposing a 67% cut to IES, the Institute of Education Sciences, where important educational research is done. Delayed funding, along with massive cuts of Department of Education staff who administer important programs like Title I and IDEA, have already caused some chaos in public school districts across the country. And finally, as we frequently discuss, curriculum decisions are made locally, not by Congress. That being said, I trust we can all agree that literacy and reading and math are important for success in school and the future. We could also agree that the latest NAEP scores, as the chairman said, show room for improvement, no doubt about it. And as we have this discussion, I do urge us to keep in mind that this year's NAEP results now have more specific information about the socioeconomic status of students. Those results show, for example, that 77% of fourth graders from the highest socioeconomic status scored above the national average, while only 34% of students from the lower socioeconomic status performed above average. I just hope we can keep these disparities in mind as we continue our hearing today and beyond. You know, this committee works on things like school nutrition. If kids are hungry, they can't learn. Also, looking back on the screen time hearing, a growing number of schools and districts and even states are banning cell phones during the day. It'll be interesting to see how those students do in math and reading once those bans have been in place for a while. But here's the bottom line. Without the long-term and sustained federal investment, students and schools will still lack the tools, the resources, and importantly, the research they need to best teach all students to learn, including math and reading. The overwhelming majority of students in the United States, about 90%, attend public schools. Public education is the foundation on which we build our future. Public schools serve the needs of every child, regardless of background or income. That's why we must invest in public education, and I submit oppose voucher scams that are funneling taxpayer dollars to private institutions. That said, I and most Democrats support a wide range of options within the public school system, including magnet schools, where I've seen students thrive when they have these options. For example, we have some of the top magnet programs in the state in the district I represent, including Portland, Oregon's Benson Polytechnic High School, a CTE magnet school that offers programs in automotive, building construction, electrical engineering, health occupations, media production, and more. Those are engaged students who are learning. And the Beaverton District has many choices: an international magnet, an arts and communication magnet, and an Academy of Science and Engineering. Again, programs that engage students, keep them in school, increase attendance, and make them more likely to succeed. So these valuable opportunities are offered to all students, and most importantly, they're offered at free public schools that are required to comply with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Unfortunately, my colleagues have passed and the president signed into law the Big Ugly Bill, which will create the first nationwide school voucher program, effectively diverting taxpayer funding and resources from public schools that enables donors of school voucher programs to receive a 100% tax credit for contributions, elevating those donations to voucher programs above all other donations, including donations made to food pantries or hospitals or places of worship and every other kind of charity. Additionally, the new law will allow individuals earning up to and including 300% of the area median gross income to qualify to use vouchers to send their children to private schools, including religious schools. An analysis by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that this new private school voucher program could cost $56 billion per year, more than all current federal K-12 spending combined. As I said before, there's room for improvement and families want to have options, but the newly established National School Voucher Program is counterproductive and will make things worse for the majority, at 90% of students who attend public schools, which is especially concerning in rural areas, like in parts of the state that I represent. There are no other options. They're already short on funding. There's no other school that a student could use a voucher for. So instead of spending time and resources on voucher schemes that don't work, and I'll be introducing a very recent study proving that, Congress should focus on holding the Education Department accountable for carrying out its mission to promote a high-quality education free from discrimination for all students. I look forward to the conversation. I yield back the balance of my time.